man, if George didn't shave for as long as I haven't shaved, this is like, my chin's here. His beard would be like this.
No.
Yeah, it would.
First time I got a bald patch, I went all Costanza like with the faded lip, discoloration.
I was watching that.
How you going, guys? Welcome back to the Johnny and KP show. Today we actually have a guest with us, so we'll say hello to him first. Gio, how you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hello. Johnny, how you going, man?
What's up, guys? How are we?
Another week down in the world of Man United, and we're still living in a circus.
Yeah, most definitely.
So like a Russian one, what's it called? What are the ones that go around the world?
Oh, the circus you're talking about. It's like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Circus Ole.
The Moss.
Man United Ole, I
So
guess.
before we get into it, guys, Reborn is in the chat. Said hello. How you going, Reborn? Cool to have you with us again. Just guys in the chat, you can let us know if there's any problem with the audio or anything. Let us know right now. But other than that, thanks for being here, and we'll get straight into it. So we got it in our topic that Ole survives again. So we'll go with you first, Johnny, because we did 2 shows ago. We did our first show, and we said there was no way he was going to be manager after the international break. And he got 9 days off. Back in training today, 9 days off for the biggest club in the world. 9 days gone. Back coaching today, so he's obviously in charge for the Watford game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think we concluded at the end of last show that we suggested he'll probably still be here in 2 weeks' time because United can't really get their shit together. But, to have 9 days off in the middle of the season in this, time of need with United in turmoil, it sounds a bit odd. So I think it was a way of the club trying to protect Ole and send him on a holiday and bring him back. But I don't agree with anything the club has done in the past week. They should have pulled the pin like we agreed on with Liverpool.
Definitely.
But it looks like Ole will still be here for the foreseeable future.
I mean, in my opinion, before we get over to George, that's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think we both said it. Any Man United fan pretty much said it. Unless you're Sir Alex Ferguson, you're not allowed to lose 5-0 to Liverpool and have a job. That's my opinion. And
No.
I don't know, Gio, what do you think on the fact of that Ole's still here? Like, what do you think on that? That Ole's still our manager. What do you say? What does that do to you?
It doesn't sit well with me at all, because look, at the end of the day, I read too many comments on posts and stuff. I go full in depth on the comments, and they're really 50-50 at the moment. The comments, especially on Twitter, you've got the diehard people that are just like, give him a chance, he's going to do well, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got basically our side where it's like, look, man, when he first started, he took the reins, he made it look good. We come back, we did that Paris Saint-Germain game, it was looking up and up. And then as soon as he signed his freaking contract, it just went all downhill. Yeah. And there's not been a light at the tunnel since that.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. Yeah, I personally think they need to part ways. They really do.
Well, I'll comment on what you said. I like it, and I said it to John. I say it every time. Listen, I played soccer, and I played football, and I'm by no means am I saying I've played for Man United at that level or anything. But when you are playing for someone that's an interim coach or an interim manager, things are completely different, because a player doesn't go knock on the door of a substitute teacher. And that's what an interim manager is. An interim manager has no worries other than I'm putting a team out. He doesn't have to worry about contracts, doesn't have to worry about keeping players happy, etc., etc. The minute he becomes full-time, he's got to be a manager. And ever since he's been full-time,
he takes on all the responsibility.
Exactly. So, I mean, Reborn has said on what you said, George, he's like, give him a chance. LOL. Think he's had that more than once, and I completely agree with that. Yeah. Jess has told us the audio's perfect. And Reborn has said as well, good luck against Watford. That's all I can say. So that shows you how far we dropped when people saying good luck against Watford, right?
Yeah. Look, when you're putting out a team, the formation that he put out against Man City, when you're going into that game tactically like that, you've already
Oh,
lost.
yeah, I agree.
Like, this is Man United we're talking about here, and like it's not like we've got shit players.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
It's,
John touched on that last week. No manager since Sir Alex has been backed like Ole. That John made that point. Like,
true.
the amount of money he's been given is next level.
Yeah, not just that. But,
I mean, Old Trafford.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, sorry,
no,
George.
you go.
Yeah, Old Trafford used to be like a place where people were scared to come play, and now it's a walk in
I
the
was
park.
watching Rio Ferdinand's YouTube channel today, and they were interviewing Vincent Company, and he goes, listen, he goes, I know it sounds weird. He goes, you can't explain this. He goes, but when we used to play Man United, he goes, we had to beat those 11 players, and we had to beat Sir Alex. He goes, it sounds weird. You can't explain it. He goes, but it's just a fact. He goes, the minute he retired, he goes, we knew Man United were vulnerable. And he goes, they've been vulnerable now for 10 years. Like, so people are not scared to play us. Look how many games we lose at home. Like, it's
look,
ridiculous.
anyone can see. Like, I personally think if it wasn't for a few of these special Ronaldo moments this year, like pulling us out of draws or whatever, Ole would have been gone already. And maybe signing Ronaldo. I think it's great, but like in doing that, he's sort of saved his job as well a little bit. So.
Listen, like, yeah, you got, in whoever's opinion it is, he is in the discussion for one of the greatest players of all time. And the way I see it is, if we keep Ole, and I'll put this question to John first, if we keep Ole for the foreseeable future, however long it is, and the people in the chat can comment on this too. Is Ronaldo going to stay with us? Because he's not going to be playing Europa League. Is Ronaldo going to stay with Man United, John, and play Europa League?
No, the guy's a serial winner. You know what I mean? Bro. He's come here to win trophies. He's got money, so he's not coming here for a pay packet. He wants trophies, and he wants to bring United back to glory days. Yeah. And I think he's going to struggle with Ole at the helm. So I think ultimately the signing of Ronaldo would be Solskjaer's downfall, because he's such competitive, and he'll probably force a rally between the team to probably get Ole out.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened already. Like, you could see. I
heard rumours that he took.
Yeah, no, go.
I heard rumours that he took a couple of training sessions back. I don't know whether or not it was true or not or whatever, but is there any depth to that? Like, if he's taking training sessions, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. See, Reborn has said, how long does Ronaldo got? He's 36. 36 isn't old, man. Trust me. No, but
he's pretty good in shape. He's in shape, isn't he?
To be doing what he does is, you want to win in the next year or two. Because
exactly,
like.
Well, the way I look at that, I compare to the Giggs career and the Giggs body, and I think Ronaldo is probably even fitter maybe than Giggs was at 36. So
100%.
That's telling how far he might have a few more years in him.
I've heard the story. I've heard Ronaldo say it. He reckons he puts almost everything down to the way he is to Ryan Giggs. He goes, because he was just phenomenal. He goes, Giggs would come back less weight than he left before preseason. He goes, he was just a freak.
Yeah.
And that made Ronaldo see, like, I've got to be like this if I want to be great like him. You know what I mean? And it's a good point. It's a good point you made, because he would have been a youngster with Ryan Giggs. Whereas you look at another one of our legends we're talking about him last week. Look at Rooney. He's younger than Ronaldo, and he's managing already. Because his body just
he's got that different body.
Like, you looked at them when they both first came to the club, they were the same age. Let's say Rooney was already a man. Ronaldo wasn't. Rooney was a man at 16. That's why he didn't. He
was.
But
that's right.
So what I'll say is, then there's a lot of talk about these other managers at the time, and the first one I want to touch on is the big rumours is, so we'll touch with John because he's iffy with it, is Brendan Rodgers. The question I'll say, though, is I'm the same. He coached Liverpool. It doesn't rub you the right way. The only get out of jail free I say with him is, he coached Liverpool, but he's not like a Steven Gerrard to Liverpool, is he? He's not a Liverpool fan. He took the Liverpool job because it was a good opportunity. The way I see it is, if he takes the United job, he probably wants to stick it to Liverpool more than anyone. But I get how it doesn't sit with some of the fans. But if Ole doesn't win this week and they turn around and say, listen, Rodgers is the manager, would you be happy with that? And I'll go with you, John, first on that.
Well, I'm at wit's end, so I'll probably be happy with Mil Heskey coming in and managing my club right now. So, but the only thing I got about Brendan Rodgers is the fact that and obviously we've got Liverpool fans with friends, and the banter we'll get is like, you got a manager that we sacked, have our sloppy X, sort of scenario. So it is a little bit tainted for me, but if he does come, look, I'll probably welcome it at this stage. I think he is a better manager than Ole is, and I reckon he has managed egos before with Suarez and Gerrard and stuff like that. So I think he can do a good job. Is he my number one choice? No, but I'd probably accept it in the end.
Get someone, let's say next week, who's your number one choice? Because you got to be realistic. Who's number one choice?
Ancelotti, I reckon. I'd love Ancelotti.
Is he realistic to come from Madrid though?
No.
I agree.
No, it's not. So if you do realistic terms, gee, what is realistic right now, really? So
Rodgers or Zidane. Honestly, that's what I think is realistic.
I don't think he wants to come to United Zidane, I think.
Money talks in the end, and that's a fact. And listen,
I think there's a language barrier for him as well, that they're talking that he actually can't speak English.
But he speaks Spanish and French, obviously, and he coached Ronaldo, he coached Varane, both of them to 3 Champions Leagues. He's French, Pogba's French, Martial's French. There's things there. What I say about that is football's universal language.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the end of that conversation.
So before we ask George, Reborn has said on John's comment, Emil Heskey is the GOAT. So we'll ask you, George, if Rodgers was to come in next week, would you welcome him? Or, is he someone you would like at the club? Or is there someone else you'd like? See, before you answer, everyone is up the arse of Erik ten Hag at Ajax, right? But the way I see it, I said it to John last week, Van der Sar's not going to give us a manager after what we've done to Van der Beek. He ain't giving us his manager now. And listen, what's the difference in what Ten Hag has done at Ajax to what Brendan Rodgers did at Celtic? They're both crap leagues. I don't care what anyone says. The Dutch league is not what it was in the 70s. The Eredivisie is... It's not what it was in the 70s. There's
a couple good teams.
Ajax and PSV, that's it. So if Rodgers was to come in, what would your thoughts be on that? And would you welcome him? Are you the same as John, that you don't... The Liverpool thing resonates with you?
It's got nothing to do with the Liverpool thing for me. It's just... I feel like we're slim pickings here. I feel like we're, even if we did get rid of Solskjaer, we don't... There's nothing out there.
Like, but isn't that the club's fault for letting Conte go to Tottenham?
Yes, 100%. But like Rodgers would definitely be tactically better than Solskjaer, 100%. Like he probably, he knows how to manage.
He proved it 2 weeks ago when he smashed Solskjaer.
So, and he'd probably be better at managing the players. I really think that the players have lost all faith in Solskjaer. I really have.
I agree.
And, they're not playing for him. Like, even though they want to and they talk about it every week and they're like, we're packing or whatever. But yeah, going back to the Rodgers thing, it would probably be more bittersweet, really. Like,
you're just getting
I love
someone
Solskjaer.
else.
Yeah, because you're just getting someone else. But is he going to be the one that you want there? Like, aren't we looking for like a permanent solution here?
Yeah. Well, see, you got I play devil's advocate. I was saying it to John. You got to see both sides of it. maybe Rodgers, in his mind, he's the next up and coming big thing. You know, he didn't work the first time at
Maybe
Liverpool. He almost won a title. Me and John touched on it, barring their
we did.
apparent
Yeah.
legend Stevie Gerrard doing Stevie Slippy. He would have won a title, and we all celebrated that when he did that. But he was that slip away pretty much from winning a title with Liverpool, with a worse Liverpool team than actually won it with Klopp. You know, and so maybe he thinks he's gone. He's won titles, albeit in Scotland, but he went undefeated there and won 2 back-to-back trebles. So maybe he thinks my next step is a big club and I can actually win something. I mean, he won an FA Cup with Leicester too. Barring, I said that to John last week, barring Ranieri winning the league, that's arguably Leicester's biggest achievement. I don't think they won an FA Cup since Gary Lineker was playing for them.
Yeah.
So
look, you could be right, and like I said, you know, as with Solskjaer when he came in, I gave him a chance.
Yeah.
You know, and we've given him, you know, like Man United fans and Man United in general have just given him a plethora of chances, and he just seems to squander them.
Well, me and John,
Like, you know, just when you think he's on the right path and he's doing the right thing, you know, he just.
Well, me and John have talked about it with Solskjaer.
Yeah.
The thing about him is, and I said this for any Man United fan, doesn't matter how old you are, you've been supporting him, you're 90 years old now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave us fans one of the best nights in our history as Man United fans. And he gave that to us. That's why we love him. And regardless of what he does, we're always going to love him. He's always going to be the baby-faced assassin to me. And I'm sure he's going to be that to John. I'm sure he's going to be that to you. He's always going to be that, and I just don't want him to tarnish that. But in the end, it's not his fault. I was saying this to John a couple of years ago when we signed Alexis Sanchez. All the supporters were tirading him, drilling him, and I always kept saying to John used to ring me up every day, we're going off about him. I say, man, he didn't make the contract. He just signed it. And it's the same with Ole. He didn't put that contract in front of him. He just signed it. It's the Glazers' shortcomings that are actually fucking us up right now. Sorry for the language, but it's the Glazers' shortcomings now. It's making him, it's ruining his legacy, the poor guy. You know, if he's not good enough, sack him. If he's good enough and you want to stick with him, back him. Tell us something. Like, have they said anything to us, John? You heard anything?
Nothing.
Yeah, there you
Nothing.
go.
No, it's been very silent from the club, and it's not like we are losing the odd game here and there, and the performances are good. The performances are shocking, and we're losing. So it's hard to back the man at the moment.
We're just relying on literally moments of brilliance from various players that we know have.
We've had a question here, lads, so I'll put it to, we'll go with you first, Johnny. Reborn has said, talking of Gerrard, what do you think of Villa? What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll do a good job? Rangers did do good with him. It's a big step up. So essentially, he's saying, what do you think Gerrard will do at Villa? Do you think he will be a success? What's your thoughts? Go with John first.
Well, I'll be honest, Reborn, I don't watch any Scottish League. So I heard he's done a good job over there. But Scottish League and the Premier League are two different things. And the Villa squad will be a tougher squad to probably manage in the Premier League. But, you got to give him a chance. He's done good things so far. So I think he will do okay. It's probably another stepping stone for him. And I wish him luck. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Gerrard and Villa for sure.
Gio, what do you think on that? You think he'll?
Yeah, I'm the same with John. I don't really follow much football besides the Premier League.
You and John are like our KGs. You just Man United. Let's see it.
Yeah, or Man United, but I still actually try and watch a lot of highlights.
Yeah,
and
that's
a lot
fair.
of I'll put a game on in the background while I'm at work and whatever, and I'll watch it. So I'm very in depth with the Premier League. I'm pretty up to knowledge with like players and stuff like that. But
listen, there's any fan that sits there and says, "I watch every soccer, every league." They're full of shit.
Yeah, they're lying.
It's a lie. You can't.
I'm not sure how he's going to do at Aston Villa. Honestly, I know it's a crap answer to give.
No, I actually think it's because in my answer to it actually is, this is what I say, and I mean, John, you can comment on it. Is Steven Gerrard a better manager than Dean Smith? what they already sacked. Dean Smith
Yeah.
is more experienced. He won the
He was-
championship.
Well, he was doing
He
all
won
right,
the
wasn't he?
championship, which is probably equivalent to the Scottish League.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know,
But just goes to show the proactive
they wanna
club
win- they wanna
mentality
win
of
football
Villa. They're
matches,
doing
don't they?
bad, so they've made a change because they're not doing good. But United, aren't very
Yeah.
proactive, and that's why we've missed Conte now, and that's where we're in a position where we're on
well,
slim
you look at it.
pickings with
Norwich
managers.
sacked their manager, and they hired Dean Smith the day after Aston Villa sacked him. So, and we've
Yeah.
said it. We talked about it, John. Dean Smith is a better manager than Ole. We said it. We don't like saying it, but it's a fact. Who is Ole better than? And we've never asked George this, so we're asking it because me and you pretty much said no one. Who is Ole when realistically, who is he better than as a manager in the Premier League?
Well, who's he managed? He managed Mulder,
that's
wasn't it? That's where he come from, and then all of a sudden
You got
he's been
got
Cardiff
Cardiff
sacked as well.
Oh, exactly. So I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, that was
I wasn't
whenever
aware of
back
that.
to whenever, I can't remember what it was, but
But like, and then he takes an interim job at Man United, and obviously does really well. Like, he did win some very important games and got stuff going on. But like I said before, the moment he signed that contract, it was just downhill.
yeah.
Like,
Mm.
the moment that, like, literally the after the ink dried, it was like a completely different manager.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, he went when he was interim manager, he was going into games, attacking mentality. Let's do this, let's do that, and then all of a sudden he decided he wanted to try and be Alex Ferguson.
I don't
like,
think it's,
no,
it's
you're
because he
not.
turned from, like you said, I think he turned from a guy that was trying to win games because there was nothing to lose, from a guy trying not to lose it to a guy trying not to lose his job. That's what I think.
Exactly,
happened.
and he should have stayed with his mindset, and we probably would be somewhere now.
Yeah.
Like, if he'd have kept the same mind. I know it, like, it's very easy to say coming from a guy that's sitting in, like, coming from someone who never managed a football team in their life, and I'm only watching and I'm only seeing what's going on, but we're here to give opinions. And
like, listen, and like I said again, I always break back to where I played. I played in a team that at our level had massive egos for our level, and there was coaches that couldn't handle it, coaches that could handle it, and like John touched on before, Ronaldo, like, I've been involved with teams where the players have gotten the coach sacked, and I believe that's going to happen, because if it happens at our level, it's happening at their level. Like, you telling me, John, Pogba got Mourinho the sack.
Well, what are the players thinking right now, seeing the media for the past week and all the circus going on in the background, and then they see Ole come in Monday morning? Like, what are all these players actually thinking in their mind? Like, we're gonna fight for this manager, or like hurry up and get this bloke out of here?
I'll put a hypothetical question to you, John. I heard this question today. Someone said it, and all these people were retweeting it. They said, sack the coaches and let Ronaldo be player manager for a month, and he'll probably get better results.
Maybe.
You're probably right.
It doesn't. It looks like it's freestyle football anyway.
Well, this is what I say. You got Ronaldo, like George said. You signed one of the top 5 players of all time. Let's say, so we don't, no controversy on who's the best, whatever. One of the top, even top 10 players of all time is an amazing thing. You get this guy. What the fuck's he thinking when you're giving him these tactics that are just pathetic? He must be thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this is just, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I saw.
Won't be happy.
I saw a great tweet the other day, and it was literally was a picture of. It was a comic that someone had drew, and it was had a comic head of Ronaldo, and it had the pitch, like, the tactics and that, and it literally just had Ronaldo's head,
and all the
and
arrows.
then the rest of the tactics, all the arrows just pointing that way, and it was Solskjaer, like, just standing there like this.
Well, you know what the best? Can I tell you guys what the best meme is that I've seen?
But it's seriously what it feels like.
Do you know what the best meme is?
It does.
The best meme is, everyone's seen Austin Powers, right? So you know when Austin is
that the
car and he's just driving the car, they put Ole's head on it saying Ole's at the wheel. Just
and he's stuck.
That's what it feels like. Like John said, freestyle. Like, it's just
I saw that one.
Both in a nutshell there.
Like, it's, see, John actually gets to hear both sides of it because we were talking about it last week. John's dad is actually one of the. He'll never say a bad
Supporters.
word about Ole, will he, John?
He's starting to
but
turn
what's
now,
turn?
though, I have
What's
to
turn?
admit. I think he mentioned in the past week, he goes, I think enough's enough. I think
But
it's
see how-
time for him to move on.
Yeah.
Like, he's not being nasty about
No,
it.
but none
I
of
do
us are
think
being
it's, you
nasty.
know,
I'm trying
None
not.
of us are being nasty.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be nasty about it. I don't want. Like Kerry said earlier. I love the
Everyone
guy.
loves him.
He.
Mhm.
You just got so many fond memories of him, but there comes a time where you just have to make the business decision. And this is Man United. At the end of the day, is a business, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business.
Listen,
It'll be even bigger legend if he just steps down and says,
But-
"Listen, look,
but in
I'm going to
reality, we
step down."
talked about that. It's not going to happen, is it?
He
No,
won't.
but it's
He
not.
won't
It's
do
not
that,
just
I
about the
don't-
money.
no.
It's that any manager has to believe that they can do the job. It's like a player. If you don't believe you can do it, you shouldn't be there.
Or you're there.
That's right. So I agree. Like, it's what John's saying is spot on, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's funny how the board have been very quiet about all this in the past week as well. They haven't really backed him or gave him criticism. So it's kind of weird as well that they haven't come out and said, "Look, we got full backing of
Yeah.
Solskjaer" or something like
Well, see,
that in this
because
time.
I always
Maybe
touch
So,
on them.
yeah.
Our board, which is the Glazers, are a bunch of parasites that do not care about Man United. They don't care about Man United like you and George and I care about Man United. They care about their dividends, and that's why I was going to touch on it before. They love having Ole in the job, George, because I would never go to Old Trafford and boo Ole. I don't care if we were losing fight. I would never boo him, and no fan will do
No.
it, and they know that. So they're in this shell, being protected by that at the moment. That we will never boo him.
No.
You can't. No Man United fan, I don't think would say, "I'll go there and boo him," because they won't, because we love him.
I think the way they booed Ollie last game was when
But
they did
Donny,
a big cheer
yeah,
for Donny when he come. That was sort of a way of having
But
to
that's
dig
the
at
most
Ollie
United
that way.
fans will do to Ole, because we won't boo him.
Yeah.
We won't. I think Reborn is cracking
funny
up
about
on
you
our Ole's
talk-
at the wheel thing.
Oh,
It was
really?
funny, man. After that.
It's the best.
It's funny you mentioned.
It's the best.
It's
man.
funny you mentioned about the owners. I think was it Abram?
Avram.
Which
Joel
one's
is
the
the
real tall?
oldest. He's the eldest, the tall. He's the one that's pretty much in charge.
Yeah. One of them said, "Oh yeah, we bought Cristiano when he was 16 at the club. I think
He's
it
a
was
moron,
18 when we
exactly.
bought him."
Rooney was
So
16.
he can't
Ronaldo
even-
was 18. That shows, they don't care.
He doesn't even know his own history that he's done at the
It
club.
makes me laugh because you
So-
look at people have always bagged Abramovich, but if anyone says Abramovich doesn't care about Chelsea, they're full of shit. The Sheiks, he
sacked a
doesn't
legend.
care, mate. What's his name? I think it was Sarri. Goes, I met Abramovich once, and it was when his helicopter was coming to sack me. He cares about his club. The Sheiks at Man City, whatever they've done to football, but they care about Man City. They want to win football matches. Same with the guys at PSG, the Sheiks there. They want to win. That's why they've signed Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. Our guys don't want to win. They signed Ronaldo because the fans went in uproar that he was going to sign for Man City, and that's a fact.
And the shirt sales.
That's it.
And also those sheiks who bought Man City hired football men to come in to run the club. We hired
Exactly. The guy, you're
bankers
spot on.
to run the club.
They had a plan in place 2 years before Pep even got there. They won the league with Man City, and they got all the Pep people from Barcelona at Man City before Pep had the job, just so they could win. We don't. The elephant in the room. He's failed because he hasn't won the Champions League, but
At least that's something we can have a giggle about.
I could win. I could.
He's been
I
unlucky.
could win
He's
the
been
Champions League
unlucky.
with that squad too. Well, that's why I think
Yeah.
Klopp's a better manager than him. That's my opinion personally, because
Yeah.
Guardiola
Didn't
has won the
we-
Champions League with Lionel Messi, and a lot of people
Yeah.
could do that. I think.
Didn't we have the opportunity? Like, I can't remember if this was true, but like when Ferguson retired, instead of signing Moyes, I think we had the opportunity to get Klopp.
Sir
was that later on?
Alex had dinner with Klopp, and Klopp said, "I'm taking a year off of football." So he said he was taking a year off.
That's right.
He met with Guardiola. Guardiola said, "I've given my word to Bayern Munich." So that was done.
Yeah.
He apparently Moyes was 6th, 7th choice or something. There was, this long list. And apparently the story goes, I heard David Moyes in an interview. He goes, Alex Ferguson rocked up to my house, and he goes, he didn't ask me. He goes, he didn't tell me what my plans were. He goes, he looked at me and said, "You're Man United manager now." He goes, I had to go tell Everton I was leaving because that's what he said to me. He goes, he didn't even ask me. He goes, he just said to me, "You're Man United manager."
Yeah.
That's the aura of Ferguson, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I mean, we really could have done with someone of the caliber of Klopp.
It wasn't that, what all the players say. Even Rio Ferdinand says it now. We really should have got Jose after Alex. We got Jose 3 years too late. If Jose had to come after Sir Alex, he would have been able to deal with them. He was in his pomp. And Ferdinand says that. He goes, we would have kept winning. Like, it's just...
We've spent over a cool $1 billion since Alex is gone. So imagine Klopp had that billion to spend over the last decade. Would be a dominant force, I'd say. But maybe the same with Mourinho, maybe the same with Pep as well. So maybe any of those three would have been 100 times better. So.
You look at it like you said, we spent $1 billion or something, and meanwhile, Sir Alex's last team, he won the Premier League with Tom Cleverley in midfield.
Yeah.
Well, Moyes' marquee was Fellaini signing, I think.
Year, I think, wasn't it? Matt, didn't he sign Matt in January?
Di Maria.
Yeah, I remember that helicopter video that he posted. Him flying in on a helicopter.
Di Maria.
No, he was Van Gaal.
Di Maria.
Oh, was it Van Gaal signing?
Yes, that was Van Gaal. And now he hates Man United now. Have you heard this?
He's a parasite. He
hates
us,
too,
man. He pretty much admitted he came for money. He admitted, I didn't want to go there. Well, why the fuck did you sign for the club then, mate? And you think supporters are going to back you? Like, I would give a limb to play a game for Man United. This guy comes and goes, I don't want to be here. Would. Fuck off, mate. You deserve everything you've got.
See you later.
Like, Also, we've touched on Rodgers. We even touched on a bit of Gerrard, like for Reborn and that. So, even Johnny, you touched on Zidane a bit. So, would you go Zidane ahead of Rodgers?
I think I would. I think Zidane is more of a short term, and I think Rodgers could be longer term, if that makes sense. I think if Zidane come in, it will be like an impact. I think we will hit the ground running more with Zidane for some reason. But I can see him maybe. Look, I would love United to put it to Zidane if you want this, because apparently he wants to be the manager of France.
Deschamps ain't going nowhere though, is he?
So why don't you take us to the end of the season and see where you're at with your national dream job, and if he does part ways at the end of this season, then we hunt for another manager in the summer. So I think it'll be a good idea, sack Ole, get Zidane in for the rest of the season. I think that would be a good choice for me anyway.
Before we ask you, George, Reborn is saying he wouldn't. I'm guessing he's saying he wouldn't go for Zidane. The one thing I've got to say about Zidane before you say, George, is you don't win 3 Champions Leagues as a coach. You've got to be doing something right, especially 3 in a row. You got to be. It doesn't matter who you had as play. You got to be doing something right. That's, and I put it back to, I said it to John when I remember when I had a Socceroo coaching me. We lifted for him because we were in awe of him, and I think players will be in awe of Zidane. So it will make them play. They would better, like Johnny's saying. Like, it'll give us to the year. And I believe the World Cup is a Summer World Cup this year, so I don't know when it's going to be next year. It's got to be...
I think it's like December time next year.
Maybe by the end of the year he can get the France job if Deschamps leaves. But is Deschamps going anywhere? Like, he's won a World Cup. He's qualified with ease.
France are playing well, man.
Oh, Reborn was paying me out. He was saying he wouldn't give a limb to play for United. No, he wouldn't take Zidane. We get that. We understand that completely. So what do you say,
Yeah.
Gio? Would you take Zidane over Rodgers, and would you take him now? Like, what would your if you were George,
mean-
you are director of football of Man United right now. How do you approach him if you want him?
Look, if he's willing to come, I think I would, just for the reasons that you guys said, the awness of the players and 3 Champions League can't be overlooked. Also, I'm going to ask a quick question here. What is there a reason why Ole hasn't been sacked yet? And the reason is that they actually can't find a manager.
I believe that's part of it. I reckon they sent him on holiday to find a manager, and he was out of the limelight, so they could sack him. He was away, and they couldn't get anyone. I believe that's part of it, but I don't know. Like, we never know, do we?
My next question is, if we can't get anyone, and the inevitable happens, and we have to sack Ole, who takes over as interim?
You
They
can't
say
be
Darren Fletcher.
Who have we got in the coaching staff?
No one. They're worse than Ole.
Carrick.
Phelan.
Phelan's managed
But he's terrible.
Phelan's managed before.
Carrick's done nothing. Hey, again, I love him. I love Michael Carrick, man. One of my favourite players. Absolute magician of a player, but obviously,
and that's But going back to the Zidane thing, if they can get him, I think I would welcome that more than Rodgers.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Apparently, he likes to really talk to individual players, Zidane, and I think he's concerned of the language barrier. So, but that's just rumours going around anyway.
All he's got to do is go, listen,
there's always interpreters.
Do a pirouette and put it in top bins. It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Just headbutt people in the chest.
What do you boys think of Maguire's celebration on Friday?
Yeah, I'll go
Was it Friday?
Gio. I'm with Roy Keane 100%. I think it was an absolute disgrace. And what was more of a disgrace?
Well, tell Gio what happened, because you missed
What
it.
was more of a disgrace? I'll fill you in. Was what Southgate said. Southgate come out and said, he goes, Roy Keane is just saying that because he wants his moment in the limelight. And then someone said to Southgate, they're like, mate, I think Roy Keane is just saying that because he's an ex-Man United captain, the most successful United captain in history, and he thinks it's a fucking disgrace. You know, like, I'll tell you what he did. He scored against Andorra, who couldn't beat my soccer team.
No.
Or Albania.
Was it Albania or Andorra?
Put his fingers in his ears, like, silence the critics. And Roy Keane said, he goes, Man United captain, that's a fucking disgrace. And it is. It's a disgrace.
So in a nutshell, he's been playing
a team of guys that are going to work tomorrow. Please.
Yeah. I don't know.
Even Reborn is saying good old slabhead because, mate, he's not just a slabhead by the size of his head. He's a moron.
He's just, I don't know.
I think he instantly regretted that decision because he got so much backlash. So much on the media.
You know
I wanted to back that guy from day one.
Sorry, Gio, to cut you off. Score a header against Liverpool at the Stretford end, and we win 1-0. Do it, mate.
You can do that. You can do
Albania, and they're not even the guys that are drilling you, mate. You're not performing for Man United, and whether England fans, even Australia fans, you want to accept it, mate. Club comes before country, and it does because they're paying your check. You know, Chris reckons Jimmy T should be the next coach.
He should, if he ever rocks up.
1-800. Where's Jimmy? 1-800. Where's Jimmy?
It wouldn't be 9 days off. It would be like a few weeks off.
Johnny Alios here. He says, Ole just had a bad
what's going on?
He's a tactical genius. He reckons. I've never even met Alio in person, but I know that's a bit of tongue in cheek there. So that's he's. You know what? I said this, Ali. I said this. I think he's just looking at something. I said this to John in one of our last shows. He actually is a managerial genius because he's the only person in world football that can make Cristiano Ronaldo look normal. So he's actually a genius. Yeah, you're right. You're spot on. So
I don't know, man.
Reborn says, before you go, George, he says, feel the same about Harry Kane. Scored how many for England this week for Spurs. He's somehow world class striker. Not convinced. I agree, Reborn. They will. What Southgate said about Wayne Rooney today, I think, was disrespectful, because, and this is not just my Man United hat on. Anyone that thinks Harry Kane was a better footballer than Wayne Rooney, you've never watched football in your life. And for Southgate to come out and say, "Oh, if we kept," what he said, I don't know if you said it, he goes, "If we kept Kane on," he goes, "I think the Rooney family would have been calling us to sub him so he doesn't break his record." Mate, you just scored 4 goals against San Marino. Please. Like, please.
You should have been fielding your reserves.
Yeah, like, please. Seriously. Yeah. Like,
rotating the squad.
And Reborn is saying, totally agrees. And there's a Liverpool fan saying, like, mate, Rooney was, like we said, his body maybe let him down later and that, but he was, by talent, one of the best English players ever developed. Him, Gascoigne, Glenn Hoddle, like, there's not many that were better.
How many people in the last 15 years can you say went out to actively sign a 16-year-old?
Oh, no, I said, I've always said this.
And put them in their
I've
first
always
team.
said this, you know, everyone.
Man United first team.
I've always
as well.
said this, you know, everyone says about Mbappe now, right? And he is a marvellous player. And the only 2 players that I've seen with my eyes, like our dad says Pele was this at that age, 16, but the only 2 I've seen with my eyes that were better than Mbappe at that age were the Brazilian Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney at 16 was the one, you'd never seen anything better. He was amazing. Like, just, you know.
Well, Harry Kane didn't hit the ground running till about 22,
like,
23.
You know.
Yeah, so even, you know, Mason Greenwood is strides ahead of, know, from 18, you know,
Reborn
to
has said
point.
he used to hate playing against Shrek in his heyday. So there you go.
Exactly, man.
But, you know, that's what we were saying before, Reborn. Johnny said it. Teams were beat in the tunnel when they used to play Man United. It was the same with Liverpool in the 80s. Teams used to be beat in the tunnel. When you rocked up, you saw these men, Keane, Rooney, Giggs, Scholes, and then you look at the Liverpool teams, Dalglish, Keegan, like, you were beat in the tunnel. Now we don't have an aura, and we've got Ronaldo. So work that out.
Yeah. It's like come enjoy yourself at Old Trafford now. It's not really, you know, our players don't even show the heart that the old players used to do and get in their faces and really look disappointed if we've lost. Now it's just like, yeah, whatever. We just walk off, shake hands.
So if you guys had the choice, let's just go to players at the moment. And I know, you know, we've got a good look. I think we've got a good squad, but do you think that central holding midfielder role is pivotal to Man United at the moment, or are we okay with what we've got?
Nah, we number one position to fill. Number one position to fill. We need a pivot, you know, right in that linchpin, just to command the centre midfield. I think that is one of the biggest things we're lacking. With too much mix. Both of them wouldn't make in the top 10 squads. McTominay and Fred wouldn't make in any of the top teams in probably the Premier League, and yet they're our number one choices.
And he loves Fred. He loves him.
Well, and, the question I'll say to you before I answer that is, do you think another manager, let's say, like we said, Rodgers, he's tactically a better, do you think he'll get Fred and coach him to be a defensive midfielder? And let's just say Fred. I'm just using one. Or Donny van de Beek and get better out of this team? Like, Ole hasn't even tried Van de Beek. So how do we know he can't do it?
No. Exactly.
Like, I'll definitely try Matic and Donny van de Beek if I was there.
Me too. I'll be like, listen, if I was honestly the manager, I know it's like Gio was saying before, it's so easy to say, but if I'm the manager of Man United right now, and Jose used to do this. Hey, listen, Paul, are you signing a contract? Because if you're not getting picked. I'm picking Matic, Van de Beek, and Bruno. And Paul, if you don't want to sign a contract, you don't want to be here, you're not playing. I don't care. And then if the board doesn't like it, okay, say sack me. I'm the manager.
Yeah.
He's going to leave for free anyway.
Exactly.
He ain't
so
going to stay.
don't pick him. Like,
you
know.
Well, he's not.
Well, he got dropped. He got dropped against Liverpool.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just goes through. Yeah. Probably frustration. But...
Listen, it's where
I don't know.
Alia said Manchester United makes him sick at the moment. Can't believe Ole is still here. And we agree, Alia. We've been that's the whole the past 3 shows, me and Jonathan. So we've been doing it every week. We've done this is our 3rd show. The first week we came in anticipating Ole was going to be gone because we just got smacked by Liverpool, and before we're like, man, we're doing our first show and we just lost 5-0 to Liverpool. We were like devastated.
That would have been a hard show.
That was the worst. John agreed with me. That's the worst viewing I've ever watched as a Man United fan. I was heartbroken, bro. Like for days, I was devastated. Like you know what I'm like with it. It's like
I just
and then
you can't.
And then our next show, we get done by City in an even probably worse display. Not as bad scoreline, but just worse display. And our title of our show was Ole's getting the sack because we thought he's getting the sack. And me and John predicted, we predicted on the first show he wasn't going to be here. Then we predicted last week he's not going to be here. The guy's still here after 9 days off. Like, what? You touched on it earlier, John. I asked you that question. What do you think of that actual decision that they've let him go on holiday for 9 days and let the players choose either to stay and train or go on holiday? What's going on there?
I don't know. I think in their minds, it was just like they probably all needed a break from the circus, like we mentioned before. But in saying that, it's Manchester United. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of the season. You don't get big holidays like that in the middle of the season. Yeah. You might get a few days off to just go see family around the world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not 9 days. 9 days almost takes you out of sharpness. You know what I mean?
It does.
Dude. Obviously these boys are probably partying somewhere and they've come back. They're not going to be as 100% fit as they should be because fitness and sharpness leaves you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think it's a poor decision, and I think we are going to struggle against Watford because of this. It's just going to put another nail in the coffin for Ole, I reckon.
Well, the one thing I'll say is Ranieri's not a dumb manager by any means. Mate, I'll tell you, people didn't rate him in that much. He won the league with Leicester and that, but he's a very smart manager, and he's a lot better manager than Ole. And he'll know. The whole world knows they haven't been training. So what's Ranieri going to be doing? If this is me, I'm coach. My fitness this week would have been, we'll be so fit, ready to crush them.
Run them off the park.
Because they're going to die. Like, I think Ali is just saying, Ole just needs to rotate the bloody squad. He's saying he needs to use every player, use subs at the 60th minute instead of the 75th minute. And I agree with that. But they're going to...
He doesn't know when to sub.
Because I told you, in the Europa League final, Emery made 5 subs before Ole made a sub. I would have sacked him for that. It's...
He doesn't trust so many players. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, so we touched on this. This is what I wanted to touch on. I want to ask George, because I asked you last week. So he doesn't trust these players, but he bought them. So I want to put this to you, George. A lot of people don't know this fact. I'll put it to you. When Ole got the job, Marcus Rashford was a starter for England. Doesn't get near starting anymore. He bought Alex Telles. He was the first team left fullback for Brazil. Doesn't make the squad. Anthony Martial was a France international. Doesn't make the squad. Jesse Lingard was an England international. Doesn't make the team. Donny van der Beek was a Dutch international. Doesn't make the team. David De Gea was the best goalkeeper in the world. Second for Spain now. This trend. And the thing is, he buys these players. He bought Telles. He bought Donny van der Beek. Sancho was a starter for England. There's another one, 75 million. Didn't make the squad. He bought him. Why is he buying players and doesn't play them? And there's this myth that he develops players, but I've just put it to you. Is it a myth? Is that a myth? I'll put that to you, Gio, because I've asked John.
I think 100% it's a myth because, like you said, all these players that you've mentioned, like even just going back to like Sancho as well, if you're investing in your squad and you're investing in youth, what the hell are you doing? Like you're going to buy this player for $75 million and not give him the runs? Give him a chance.
Well, the thing I put to that, like you're saying, is Pep Guardiola bought Jack Grealish for $100 million, and he's pretty much played every game. He's not as good as Mahrez, and he's not. But Guardiola knows he's younger. I'm going to make him better.
But Guardiola has confidence in his fucking decisions. Right. Ole does not. He doesn't have any confidence in, like, he makes these decisions and just thinks, oh, maybe we'll use them here and there, you know.
Yeah. See, Reborn has said exactly what we're saying. He said, instead of Watford playing scared against us, John, they're going to go at us hoping to win. Like we said, they're going to try to run us off the park. And Reborn is saying, and, you know, this is...
And most clubs have been doing that this season now because there's no fear factor there anymore. There's not fear
I'll tell
of playing Man
as
United.
A striker, right? That's the position I play. I don't care if he's Man United captain, mate. I would love to play against Harry Maguire. That would be my ideal person to play against because I know I'm getting the ball and he's done. He's on toast. Because the guy's... He's slower than my ER, and my ER died 10 years ago. Like, it's 2 years. It's, you know, like, make sure you rest in peace, mate. It's just a fact. Like, he's... And then without Varane there, who's got the legs, we're shot, bro. And Josh King plays up front for Watford. 2 years ago, he fucked us when I don't know if it was Jose or Ole. He scored for Bournemouth against us and we lost. You know, because he knows he's quicker than Maguire. Like, it doesn't have to be better. I'm quicker than you. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just at the moment, I was just going to touch on, because I've gone through a range of emotions following Man United this year, because it went from, you know, sheer joy for them signing Ronaldo and whatever. But the emotion that I'm left with now is just, I'm sad. Yeah. I really am. Like, there's no other emotion to put. I'm just sad, and I just want it to go back to somewhat normality.
Well, I agree 100% with you. You can ask Chris. Ask the big man. When we signed Ronaldo, I was wearing my old Ronaldo top from 10 years ago every day. Because I don't go buy new tops from the Glazers. They can blow me. Seriously. They can go... Yeah. I hate the Glazers, mate. I will never give them money. Like...
I think...
So I was wearing my old Ronaldo top that I almost burnt 10 years ago when he left us because once he left Man United, I hated him. He come back, I was wearing it every day, and now I don't want to wear it. I'm upset, like, because they're ruining him.
Yeah.
Well, you reckon it's hard because it's not easy for the club to get rid of Ole and the whole coaching staff at once. That's why they're delaying this process.
But when coaches come in, they usually bring a coaching staff. So is it hard?
Well, does that mean Rodgers has to bring over the whole coaching staff from Leicester
I don't know.
over?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm sure Zidane has a coaching staff that he wants in, an assistant, you know, like. But then again, you probably aren't right.
Because I think if you just replace Ole and leave McKenna and Carrick and Phelan with this new part, it's just going to be disaster again.
So, Alio said, I put my Nike Mercurials, packed the tape around my shin pads, and started doing step-overs in my garden. Privileged to watch him again. Mate, I was doing it on game day. Don't worry about that. I was like, I can win a best and fairest at 36 because Ronaldo can do it.
And it all, you know, like his first game, I know the 2 goals and all that stuff. It was just, I don't know.
Listen, we were never losing to Newcastle because they're the worst team in the league at the time. They haven't won a game. Yeah. And the emotion, the players, inevitably, they were going to live for that because you can't not live for that. Like, it's, you know. You look at Rashford.
Yeah, it was an occasion.
Ronaldo and Rooney is their heroes. So getting to play with their heroes is a big, you know. But that can only take you so far.
Yeah.
So before we're coming to the end of the show, I'll say is I want to touch on something you touched on last week, John. You were saying that they'll give him time. You thought they'll give him time, but international break will come and he'll get the sack. He's still here. If he loses to Watford, will he get the sack?
No.
See, I agree because we're playing Villarreal 2 days later. So what does it take in this next three?
100%
What does it take? I'll
agree.
give to both of you then. What does it take in these next 3 games? I think it's Watford, Villarreal, and either Chelsea or Palace. I'm not sure which one. It could be Palace. So I think it's Watford, Villarreal, Palace, Chelsea. Are we waiting till after the Chelsea game for him to be sacked, do you think? Or could it happen before then? And we'll go Johnny first.
I think it could happen before then. I honestly think I'll do a prediction like I did last time on the things as well.
Win-loss predictions and a manager prediction. Let's go.
Well, the next 2 games, what is it?
Watford and Villarreal.
Watford. I think he's going to get 2 draws there. I don't think he's going to win, but he's going to get 2 draws. And I think he'll knock off Palace and then lose to Chelsea. And
that's second, right?
So
that's second.
Yeah, second. So that's draw, win, loss there.
Palace did just beat Man City. You know this.
Yes. So, but I think Ole will do it. But yeah, he should be sacked. I think he will be. I think by Chelsea, because I think Chelsea were just gonna make us look like boys out there. So yeah, I think it'll get too toxic. I think the fans it'll be too much noise around the club that they're gonna have to do it.
So before you answer that, Alia has said, John, we answered this question earlier, but he's put it to us, and it was a good question. We said it earlier. Do you think Ronaldo will leave if we don't get Champions League? You want to touch on that quickly again? We all can answer that for Alia. He wasn't here at the start.
Yeah, I think he probably would, because Ronaldo's come here to win trophies, not to get a payday, and I think he will get so. He'll disrupt, he'll start rallying the group, to get Ole out in the end. And it'll be sort of him or Ole. And I think Ronaldo will win that battle. And like we said earlier, I think at the end of the day, Ronaldo signing will be the end of Ole. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what I think.
Gio, quickly on that?
He won't stay if we don't make Champions League. And just touching on the question that you asked John before about the next few games. So give us
a win-loss prediction.
Well, I personally think we're going to lose against Watford. I don't think the 9-day break was a good thing, and I personally think that they're not going to be fit enough, and I think it's going to be 2-1.
Give it a scoreline.
I'm predicting the score for that one.
We don't give scorelines much in this,
I don't
in our illustrious history.
Look, that's just my, I'm not a football. Look, we don't believe in this stuff. I'm not a football analyst.
You're with us. We're analysts.
So I wanted to ask you something, because I know, what's the table looking like for the Champions League? So if we were to draw or lose to Villarreal,
are we out? And then somehow lose to Young Boys, we're out. Yeah, but I mean, a point. Well,
we've already lost. We've already.
Point's good enough.
We have
lost. The point's good enough.
So nothing's out of the question. But
So nothing's certain. So if I personally think if we lose to Watford this week,
I agree.
He won't be sacked. But if we lose to Villarreal as well, I think that'll just definitely be the nail in the coffin. You can't lose. How many games?
We've had 5 points out of 18.
It's going to be 3 games in a row. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So there's got to be a line in the sand. And if they still back him after this, I really don't know what to say.
I'll touch on what Alia said, because we said it before. I actually think Ronaldo has got Jorge Mendes as his agent, and he's not a dumb agent. I actually think it will be in Ronaldo's contract that if we don't make Champions League, he can get out with something. Yeah, there'll be a clause. Because he's missed the Champions League, man. It's like HBK missed the WrestleMania. He's missed the Champions League. He ain't playing in Europa at 37.
He is.
It's not happening. And before we keep going, after that question, Reborn has said if he'd just bought Sancho, he'd be playing him just behind Ronaldo. He's an assist machine. He did it every week at Dortmund. And I agree with that too. What do you guys think on that? That's
Yeah, it just sucks for the likes of Greenwood and Rashford and whatever. We've got all these players now, but Sancho was brought in for a reason. So I know Greenwood's a great player,
striker,
but he's still young.
He's not a...
So he can. Yeah, Yeah. So, but like, you could have your Rashford and your Sancho playing together with Ronaldo. Like,
Yeah.
it would work.
Yeah, well, so
Hmm.
Reborn has said before I give any predictions, win at Watford. Win at Watford just, he's saying. Draw at Villarreal, lose to Palace, lose to Chelsea.
Could happen.
See,
Could very well
I'm
happen.
actually,
Easy.
I'm so
Yeah.
torn. I'm
Anything
so
can happen this
torn, and
year.
I want to say, I actually want to say what John said, a draw against Watford, but I'm so torn to say that this 9-day break thing is going to kill us, and that we're going to end up
I'm in
losing.
complete agreement
But
with you. Yeah.
it's very tight for me.
Hmm.
Even if we lose, I don't think he's getting the sack. I agree with John. If we lose to Villarreal, I don't think he'll be the manager versus Palace. That's
Hmm.
my opinion. I do not think he's the manager against Palace if we lose to Villarreal. But I actually agree with Reborn. If he's still in charge, I think we'll lose to Palace and Chelsea with him. Yeah. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
the players.
They missed their window. They're missing their window to sack him and move on. This week. So
Yeah.
The big man reckons he thinks Ole and Zidane should have a TLC match. The winner gets the job. It's not a, Zidane, mate, you should see him. He headbutts people.
Zidane
He's
will headbutt
crazy.
him in the chest and win.
So,
Zidane will smash.
Don't-
Zidane will smash Ole.
so Reborn has said Chelsea are on fire at the moment. I think will be another spanking for us if Ole's the coach. That's what he's saying. We actually thinks we'll get.
We're going to be going to be embarrassed.
So, this is the question.
Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to ask you this, John. You said it. You said if they keep Ole. Now I'm quoting you now, so if I'm quoting it wrong, you can correct me. You said if we keep Ole, Ronaldo factor will get us top 4. Do you still believe that?
Well, it's harder
only a
now
week, it's only a week
because
since you said it. Do you still believe it?
I think he'll scrape in. I think the squad that we have, I think it's harder not to get top 4 than. I think it's harder to get no top 4 than it is to get top 4 of the squad we got. So if Ollie's completely stuffs it up somehow, but I still believe we can get top 4. But is that top 4 good enough? Have we sunk to those lows now where we've become Arsenal from early 2000s? Oh, not early 2000s, probably late 2000s.
Yeah.
But that's what we've become. We've become Arsenal, and Arsenal, obviously dropped even lower than their standards now, of just Europa League standings. So it's just how low is this bar going to go? I think the United fans have been numb now. I think this whole last few years has been draining, you know what I mean? And it's just become, I feel like I'm lucky I've got so much other stuff happening in my life now to take me away from Man United misery.
Yeah.
So you remember, probably a few years ago, I used to freak out nearly every game we lost again when we had Mourinho and that.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like a little bit numb to it all.
Yeah.
So
See, listen.
I think
gone are the days where.
I think we can get top 4 still.
What I say is the point I make to that is, I agree. The squad's too good not to make top 4, but I actually don't think he does, because I look back to that team when it all went sour. Chelsea won the league, and then they finished 10th. And then the year after, Conte took the job and they won the league again. So nothing saying you got a good squad means you can't not finish in the top 4. We won the league. Ferguson retired, we finished 7th. And we had a good squad.
I also think Ollie should take this break as a blessing to him, saying all right, look, I've stuffed up. I've got to start trusting other players that I have in my squad. Obviously I've got nothing to lose now because my head's on the chopping block. So let's change it up, man. Let's, change the midfield. I believe if he changes that midfield up, he will start getting results. So if he does that, he might have a chance. But, I think he's dug himself a hole that deep that he's praying on a miracle to keep his job.
The big man is having a go at us. He said, soon we'll have the Crows to cry about. # we cry as one. So... Listen, I've supported the Crows since day dot. My dad was Glenelg is a Bays fan, so we've been Crows fans since day dot 91. And grand final, everything that day. nothing upsets me like Man United games. Like,
Well, look, you can't take
Nope.
what the big man says for fact, because he's a traitor
I know he
to
supported the
the
Crows,
Crows in
and
the
now he
end of the
supports
day.
Bell. Work that one out, mate.
So, how can you support
He,
One of
he was
those.
he was one of
yeah,
those,
how can you
was he?
support the Crows and then as soon as Port come into the competition, oh, I'll go for Port now.
I knew many of those people.
Huh?
Yeah, there was a
Many.
few of them. So
There
Alia
was so
said,
many of
before
them.
we'll
Yeah.
close it, guys, he said, I think we're a different side with Varane. He directs McTominay and Fred and Pogba and Donny in, he's saying.
Yeah, I think change it up. He's got nothing to lose. Change the squad up. So
Chris,
Yeah.
Alia said, Chris, 119 points, brother. And Chris is saying, John, you lie. Well,
as soon as Port start losing, they just get the tarps out to cover half the
Chris, yous
stadium
do,
because
yeah,
no one
that's right,
rocks
Chris.
up to the.
Yous do hold a world record in a game that's only played in one country. So, it might be the biggest defeat in the history of a grand final, but it's still a world record. So,
Well, look, just before we finish up and whatever, I just wanted to say before, just gone are the days where I'm actually excited to get up or stay up and watch a Man United game. I'm scared. I'm scared now. Like every time we play, it's always just, no matter who we play, it's like I'm sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, can we get a win tonight? But like you go back 10 years or whatever, like, when we had the Skulls and that team and that aura, like, you were excited to watch any Man United game.
Well,
Yeah. And we get up ridiculous
that's
times
right.
to
I was
watch
going
this
to say,
too.
you two boys know me. I make it like a thing that it's I don't miss a Man United game. I don't care what time it is. I don't care how tired I am. I do not miss a game. That's I'm a diehard United fan, like John is. Like you, like we are. Like it's, and it's so frustrating. Before the Liverpool game, I said to John, we spoke on the phone, and I said, John, these were my exact words. I said, I reckon it's going to be 6. We're going to get done for 6. And I was one goal off, because I just said I watched them against Man City, and the Man City Liverpool game was like watching Man United versus Arsenal in 2001. It was just the two best teams in the world were going for it. And I said to John, they're going to kill us. And then I said, and when we play City, they're going to kill us too. And City should have killed us, like, by the same. It was just, by chance it was 2-0, but it was an 8-0 game. Like, they killed us. So it is a shame. The big man says his bed covers are tarps. So he's supporting the team. He's got to support the team. Got to support the team. He's Alia said, great pod, lads. I'll listen to the beginning tomorrow. Thanks, Alia. We're about to log off now too, man. But yeah, thanks for being in. Reborn.
Cheers, mate.
Reborn as well. Thanks for being there, everyone that's watched. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Also, we've got it in the link. Check out our merch. And today, the big man has actually listed our podcast is actually live on the podcast platforms, which is Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. It's all in the description below. So if you don't want to see our faces and you just want to hear it, check it out. And so we'll go with Johnny first. Any final thoughts for the week ahead till we meet again next week?
Look, all the stuff we say about Ole and everything like that. At the end of the day, I want Man United to win, and I hope we smash Watford this weekend. And I hope the bloke does turn it around. But it doesn't look good for Ole. But end of the day, we want United to win, and hopefully we get our 3 points against Watford.
Yeah, I agree. And you, GA, any final thoughts for the week?
Yeah, just the same as John. Like, I always want Man United to win. Always. Like, and it hurts when they don't, and when even when we draw. Hate drawing. It's annoying.
A draw's a loss to me, mate.
But yeah, like I said, I just think it's a bit too far gone at the moment, and it's sort of like we're all just waiting. We're just waiting for the announcement.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree. I'm with John. I can never be that guy that says, listen, I hope we lose so Ole gets the sack. I want us to go out and win 7-0 against Watford. And I want him to turn it around. I don't see it happening, like you have both said. But I hope he does. You know, I hope he turns around and he's a better manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. It's just, but do you see it happening? No, you know. So, but yeah, on that note, we've got one last comment from Reborn. Who said you're alright for a bunch of Manx. Thanks, Reborn.
Yep.
You can catch us tomorrow, Reborn. We're going live again on our normal.
So
our normal
is
podcast.
Reborn from
I think
Liverpool?
it is. Reborn, we'll put that question out before we go. Are you actually, are you a Scouser? Or are you just, you're from England? Where are you from? We'll put that out. And while he's answering that question, yeah, if you want to check us out tomorrow, the normal podcast is going live tomorrow. And then next week, hopefully, the big man and myself, we don't know, we've got to put it out there. If Johnny and that are coming, we're hoping to do a challenge for some Homer-looking footlong that Chris is going to annihilate
Oh
on
my
Tuesday.
God.
And then we're going to be live, I think, with Gio and Lucas again next week on Thursday. So
the challenge is next
I
Tuesday?
think so. That's what the big man is saying. Tuesday is the day. And we're going to try to do it live.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
I'll let you
God.
know what's going on with this work stuff when I'm getting back, but I should be back.
Yeah. Reborn has said he is from Liverpool. Doesn't live there now, though. So he's a Scouser and he's here supporting us. And we really appreciate that. It's hopefully back tomorrow. And next week again, me and John are trying to do this every week. We don't know because your work schedule again next week, do we, John? What we can do? It's
Yeah, it might be.
if we have to, and John, we can't get it on. We might come on as George as a substitute or something. I don't know. We'll try to do something because that's the last week. The week after, we can go back to Mondays, can't we? Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
yeah,
right.
we'll figure something out next week, guys. But we love doing the Man United show on here, and we love doing the normal podcast, and hope to see you there. And see you, boys. Thanks, Gio. Thanks, Johnny. And
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, guys. Thank
Good to see
you.
you
Thanks,
again.
Gio. Great show.